Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another inspiring episode of the Graces of Catholic Education podcast, where grace shapes Catholic education one future saint at a time. I am your host, Maria Pardini, and I am so excited to welcome you to the inaugural episode of Philly Faith Legends, a special series celebrating the heart and soul of Catholic education in Philadelphia. As a proud alumnus of Archbishop Carroll High School, I'm thrilled to launch this series with these two men whose lives are shining examples of the enduring legacy of Philly Catholic education, Mr. Barry Kirsch and Mr. Joe DeBarberie. In this city, Catholic schools are more than institutions. They're communities built on faith, service, and shaping young minds and hearts for future generations. We're honored to feature Barry Kirsch, my former teacher and a true Carroll icon, who taught and coached at Carroll for over 50 years, leading basketball teams and the pro-life club with unmatched dedication, leaving a legacy that defines Archbishop Carroll. Joining him is Joe DeBarberie, also a Carroll alumnus, class of 1973, taught by Barry Kirsch, who went on to become a legendary head baseball coach at Monsignor Bonner and Archbishop Prendergast High School, even earning himself a place in Bonner's Hall of Fame for his transformative leadership. These men, connected through Carroll's legacy, have dedicated decades to teaching, coaching, and mentoring, showing that whether in a classroom, on a field, or on a court, the mission remains the same: to form student athletes who excel in character, faith, and service. Their lives are a testament to the lasting impact of Catholic education in Philadelphia, inspiring generations of students, athletes, and educators. Join us as we dive into their stories, their faith, and the profound legacy they've built in our Catholic education community. Hi, Philly faithful. My name is Maria Pardini, and welcome to the Graces of Catholic Education podcast, a place where grace shapes Catholic education one future saint at a time. The mission of this podcast is to build a faith-filled place for Philly's Catholic educators to share their faith, hear innovative practices for today's challenging classrooms, and be inspired by others who are tackling this wild and blessed ride of Catholic education. Join us as we explore the grace that guides us in forming the hearts and minds of Philly's future saints. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Barry Kirsch and Mr. Joe DeBarberie. It's so nice to have you guys here. You are the very first two guests on the Philly Faith Legends episode of the Graces of Catholic Education podcast. So this is like a new way to do this, and I'm thankful for both of you to be here. So if it's okay with you guys, we'd like to just start with a little prayer.
Sure, absolutely.
All right. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the gift of Mr. Kirsch and Coach DeBar. Thank you for the blessings that you will bestow on us, and keep our listeners in your prayers. We ask your grace as you guide us through this conversation. As we do everything, we do it in your name. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Well, anyway, so like I said, thank you guys so much for coming here. It's so funny. I've never referred to you as anything but Mr. Kirsch, and I've never referred to you as anything but Coach DeBar. So that's just how we're going to go with this through the thing. So, Mr. Kirsch, you've spent 50 years at Carroll. Is that correct? Was it 50? 52. All right, 52. You were a teacher. You were a coach. What else did you do at Carroll?
I was a pro-life moderator for about 30 years.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. That was like one of those facts that come up, and I was like, I just want to make sure that we put that. You went to a lot of pro-life marches.
Yes, we did. Went to D.C. every year.
Yeah.
And downtown to abortion clinics quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Took a bunch of kids with me, a lot, parents with me. Yeah.
So what does Catholic education mean to you?
Oh, it's a great question. I mean, I grew up, went to Catholic grade school and high school, went to Villanova. went to St. Joe's, so I was always at a Catholic school.
But that's right. We forgot. I totally forgot how I was supposed to start this. I can't believe it, but we're going to go with it. We are going to go with it. We always start every conversation on the podcast. Where are you from? So let's backtrack just a little bit and tell me, where are you from? Where'd you go to grade school? Where'd you go to high school? Sorry about
I grew
that.
up in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. It's out near State College.
Yeah.
And went to grades at St. Francis grade school, St. Francis High School. And then I moved on to Villanova.
Okay. Villanova, where the Pope went.
Yes.
That's exciting.
It is. Augustinian. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
I was, so I grew up in Ardmore.
Okay.
And I went to St. Coleman's grade school. Proud member of the class of 1973 from Archbishop Carroll High School in Radnor and LaSalle University.
Oh, you're an explorer.
College.
Okay, you're an explorer. I didn't know that. All right. Well, I love the fact that you yourself are a legend at Bonner, but I always love the fact that I always told people every chance I got anywhere in the Bonner community that you actually are a product of Archbishop Carroll. Yes. And how did you get to know each other?
There's people that think that I went. There's still people today that think I went to Bonner.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Right. We have to keep reminding me what the car. Make sure to wear some red and white.
Exactly. So you went to Carroll.
Yes.
And I love that.
Well, back then, you had to go
Yes.
where you lived.
Yep.
If Carroll was not built in 1967, I would have went to Bonner. So 1969, I graduated St. Coleman's and went September of 69 to Carroll. And I played basketball and baseball, and Barry Kirsch was basketball and baseball coach.
I think that is just so, I'm sure you guys talk about this all the time.
I tried to play.
I love the fact that, and now you're friends. Like you are like legit friends. Like you were his teacher, but
He was only 10. Most of the teachers back then were only 10. Yeah. 8, 10, 12 years older than us.
Yeah.
It was such a school.
Now, was Carroll your first teaching job?
I taught at Kenrick for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Coached baseball there and girls basketball.
Okay. And then you came over to Carroll.
And transferred to Carroll the second year.
Okay. And you were 4 years. You were the first 4 year? No.
No, my class, 71, first full.
Okay. Okay. And we have a common connection because I went to St. Coleman John Newman grade school. So St. Coleman's closed in like 1982,
I think.
Yeah.
My brother.
Oh, no, I think it was earlier than that because,
Earlier than that?
yeah, because I started at St. Coleman John Newman. Oh my gosh, I was like 1976, I think. And I was the first class that went through Coleman Newman combined 8 years. And I graduated in 84 from Coleman Newman. So, yeah. And when I actually first started, it was Blessed John Newman.
Yeah.
So St. John Newman was made a saint like right in like my first grade year, I think. Yeah, but we were the first class that went all through there. And an explorer. I love that. I did not know that about you. Okay, cool. All right, so let's kind of get back to the questions here. Tell me, Mr. Kirsch, what does Catholic education mean to you, and why did you dedicate your entire career to it?
Well, my parents were very Catholic, and my father used to get us around the dining room table every night in October and May, and we'd say the rosary together. And my father had only let us apply to Catholic universities, all of the brothers and sisters, and so it was just part of me. It was just there.
Yeah.
And when an opportunity came to teach and coach at Kenrick, I jumped on it.
Yeah.
Not thinking I would stay forever. I thought maybe, well, let me give it a try, and doesn't work out, I'll do something else. But once I get involved, I loved it. It was just.
Now, you were a math teacher at Carroll? Yeah. Were you always a math teacher?
Yes.
Okay. And so what was your college degree? Was it educational or was it math?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, I was planning on going to law school, so I had took a lot of courses like that, and then I kind of geared it. I was lucky enough to play for Villanova on the freshman team. And Jack Kraft was the head coach of the varsity. And, you know, I watched them at practice, and I watched the games, and I started thinking, oh, maybe I want to be a coach. So that's how it changed.
I love it. Well, thank God.
And he was a good coach.
Yes. So he coached you in basketball and baseball.
I never made it to the varsity in basketball.
Okay.
I was smart. I stopped playing after sophomore year. Played CYO, which was probably best for me. I did play 4 years of baseball, and Big Guy was the head coach in 1973 in the spring when we won the Southern Division Championship for Carroll, the first baseball championship in Carroll's history, because it was only 6, 7 years old.
Right.
And he had a big impact on me and you know how I coach and you know how I still.
Yeah. So Joe, talk for a minute. How do you see coaching as an extension of the Catholic education mission, even though you weren't ever really in a traditional classroom?
Well, I think, you know, being a coach, you have an opportunity to be with these young men. You know, sometimes more than their parents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're with us, especially, you know, nowadays. It seems like every sport is 12 months a year. So I know this, when we're talking to young men and the parents about coming to Bonner and maybe being a part of, you know, the baseball program, you know, we talk about the fact that our number one goal is to help build better men. And, you know, 1A is winning. Don't get me wrong, the win. But all these young men, when they go from grade school to high school to college to the pros, the funnel gets very small up at the top. I think the national average is 8% for high school players to go play in college. We've been lucky the last 15 years, we've had 50% go play in college. So all these young men, they may not have an opportunity to be pro one day, but they all have an opportunity to be a good husband, a good father, a good son, and a good Christian. So if we have the ability to help mold these players into good husbands, good fathers, good sons, good Christians, then we've done our job. If we attract guys like that, we'll be successful. We might not win a championship every year, but we'll be successful. And I think it's probably our most important job as coaches and teaching in that environment.
Yeah. And I mean, you both exemplify the mission of Catholic education unabashedly, undoubtedly. That's why you're sitting here. And I've always had such great respect for what you've done as a fellow coach. I mean, I'm a coach too, but more so the way that it was never about the X's and O's, primarily. I mean, they were important and they matter, but really what matters is the example that you both set. I was listening to another podcast the other day, and it said, it would be nice if we had coaches that act like teachers and teachers that act like coaches. And I think that you really exemplify that. So how did you kind of bring those two things into what you did every day?
Well, excuse me. Teaching and coaching are selling. You have to sell your concept, what you want to get across to your players, what you want to get across to your students. So you have to be able to market that. If you can't do that, they're not going to buy in. So as Joe said, you want to buy into the sports end, but you want to buy into making them, you know, good Catholic men and women. And then you have to be clear, you know, in your selling. They have to fully understand what you want, how you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be real.
Yeah.
You can't be fake. They'll see it right.
Oh, man.
They'll see it right through you.
Absolutely.
For
So
sure.
you are definitely selling yourself. That's bad. And, you know, when you're dealing with, whether it be 24 on a baseball team or 15 on a basketball team or 65 on a football team, you know, sometimes not everybody buys in. And, you know, we always look at it this way. We treat everybody fairly, but not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think that's a concept sometimes that people misunderstand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll always be fair, but we can't. You just can't treat everybody the same. They're different.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that definitely relates to the classroom too. I mean, you can't teach every student the same. They just don't learn. They don't all learn the same way with all the same bells and whistles. Each kid is different. And I think that you learn that in special education very quickly, because I do have a background in special education. So, we talk about the term student athlete very, very much. And we talk about it in Catholic education sports, very heavy emphasis on that. So why is it so important in what you both always tried to do? You always emphasize student athlete, that the student comes first. But how do you kind of instill that into your players and your students?
Well, very seldom do you see an athlete who's a lousy student,
Yeah. So we were talking about student athletes and how important it is to be a student athlete, and how important the emphasis that you both placed on that. And I love what you said, that it's very seldom that you don't see a good athlete who isn't also a good student.
Right.
I actually think I was a parent to one of those actual students. I think the one exception of the rule to that was my son, which is why he didn't continue. Like, he went into the military service because he was a really good athlete, but he really wasn't that great of a student. And we had many long conversations during his high school career that this is a two-pronged process.
Yep.
And the very first part of the prong is student.
Mm-hmm.
But
for me, it's kind of easy in some regards, because if they want to play at the next level,
mm-hmm.
the first thing that the schools look at when they come talk about somebody is, how's their grades. So we have that little carrot that we dangle there. Hey guys, if you really want to move on, you're going to have to be a successful student too. We took it a step further in the sense that the baseball program at Bonner, we have a mandatory study hall for anyone with a 75 or below average. We get the grades weekly. The kids know that if they are below 75, even if they've already turned homework in or whatever, they have to come both days that week. And we have a monitor in there. We have our national honors students that that will help tutor, and we also have an assistant coach, John McCauley, who taught at St. Thomas for a number of years, and he kind of runs that program for us.
He could be a legend. He could be his own legend, John McCauley. Yes.
Yeah. So our kids have done a good job of realizing that in order for them to succeed, and even if they're not going to play in college, if they want to get into the college that they want to go to, they're going to have good grades. So as Coach said, you don't really see it that often because most of them are disciplined enough. Mm-hmm. They know if they're a good athlete that they're practicing a lot, they're doing things on their own, and they have that time management skill, which is basically what you're trying to really teach them, the time management skill.
Yeah.
Also think that if a student or an athlete has the ability to listen,
mm-hmm.
To what the coaches are teaching or what the teacher is showing you, and the ability to learn, they're going to be more successful.
Absolutely.
A lot of kids have talent, but they can't reach their potential because they can't listen, they can't learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that destroys more kids than anything.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that you as a teacher aren't giving yourself enough credit. The fact that you said things and you taught things in a way that were easy to listen to. Not everybody has that wonderful gift of being able to make a concept easily learned. You gave countless hours to your students. And, it's funny, I never had you as a math student. You were my homeroom teacher our junior year when we combined, actually. That is really my first foray into Mr. Kirsch land.
Okay.
Yes, and I've never looked back.
That must have been a wild time, huh?
It was crazy, really. I mean, we were like, we were kind of like, and you didn't change classrooms, so my homeroom was on the boys' side.
Yeah.
You had, you guys were allowed to. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think you changed classrooms. Yeah. So, so that was a crazy
we
time.
had one of the best principals for that time to merge.
Brother Kevin, right? Yep. Mm-hmm.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
Had that way to make everybody feel comfortable and feel important.
And we had Brother Ed as a disciplinarian. And I remember the first day I showed up, we all showed up, at school. We didn't know what to expect. It was crazy because it was combined and you didn't really see the boys unless you really wanted to. And he knew our names. Brother Ed knew our names on the first day of school. And maybe this is an urban legend. I don't know. But it came out, I guess, later at some point, somebody found out that he memorized all the girls' names from the yearbook.
He did.
And so when we showed up there on the first day of school, Brother Ed knew our names. And that really set the tone for being a good disciplinarian.
That was true. He would take the yearbook and then incoming freshmen, he had pictures somewhere, down to the shore with them. He'd sit there and he'd memorize them all. And he memorized your student numbers because they're all in order. And he also memorized your locker numbers. Because when he handed out the merits, he would meet you at the locker first thing in the morning.
Yes.
He didn't send them by anybody else.
Not that I got a lot of demerits.
He handed it to you and said, don't do it again.
Yes. He was the disciplinarian. I mean, if there's a guy that screams Catholic school disciplinarian, it was Brother Ed.
He was the best one we ever had.
But what I love about him is that he was there was no doubt you knew that he was the disciplinarian, but there was also no doubt that you knew that he actually really cared about you as a person too.
Yes.
And he's since come to many reunions that I have had, that I've been a part of at Carroll. And he usually you don't fall in love with your disciplinarian. I mean, the disciplinarian we had from the girls' school was Sister Helen Loretta. And she was not someone that I fell in love with. God bless her. Sorry, sister. But Brother Ed, there was something about Brother Ed that really...
Well, he wanted you on a straight and narrow.
Yeah.
He wanted you to be the best person you could be. But just so people know his name, Brother Ed Karankowitz.
That's right. I know. I could never pronounce that right. Is he still with us? Okay. Okay.
Registrar.
Oh.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. And,
that's where Brother James was too.
Right. And other thing about Brother Ed was first couple of years, the kids were like, whoa. And then they realized they couldn't get away with anything.
Correct.
Caught them. And so the last couple of years he was there, when he'd walk up on the stage for an assembly or any kind, they gave him a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Really?
They did. Yep. They just clapped and clapped and clapped because they knew they couldn't get away with anything.
It is true. That is crazy, really.
Get away with it.
I don't think they've ever replicated a Brother Ed.
No.
I've never seen it anywhere in all of Catholic education.
He was here. He was there.
It was everywhere. And he was quiet.
The doors.
Quiet. Like he didn't have this like gregarious personality or anything. He was very, very quiet. Very quiet. He was like stealth.
You know what I loved about Carroll? The first year I went, we had to wear a tie and a jacket.
Okay.
Second year, gone. We were a very liberal high school. It was just golf shirt.
A golf shirt?
And khakis or whatever.
They definitely changed that though, right? They changed it. And then now they've all changed it back for like summer uniforms and stuff.
We got away with some stuff.
We won't talk about all the stuff that,
I told him.
We don't want to give any students out there listening any ideas as to what Coach DeBar used to get away with at Carroll. So Mr. Kirsch, you coached baseball, you coached basketball, boys and girls,
yes.
Right? Okay. So that's a lot. Is there like one moment from your career on the field or on the court that stands out that you're most proud of? That you can think of one?
Well, I don't think one in particular, but it would be in general. If we'd win a game and we did everything the way we were supposed to do it, the way the scouting report worked, and the way we worked at practice, that would make you feel good.
Okay. All right. So, Joe, you were Bonner's baseball coach before you passed the reins on to your son, Steve, which we'll talk about. Right. Do you have one standout memory from your coaching career that kind of captures the spirit of your work?
I think not one moment, but moments in time where, I mean, the guys that, even going back when I coached at St. Bernadette's grade school, 93 to 04, before I went to Bonner. and those young men are, 40-year-old adults with kids. Having them come back and come up to me and say, "Hey, coach, how you doing? Give me a hug." That's what that's the thing that I. So not, I mean, obviously there's, championship here and there and that kind of stuff. 2010 championships, obviously stands out. It was my first. Unlike the Loretta Beersman Carroll, who wins like 24 straight. I thought I was good winning one championship, right? She wins 24 straight.
Yeah, that's right.
But just the fact that knowing that you had an impact on the players means more than anything.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you both this question. Who was the biggest influence for each of you as a Catholic educator and as a Catholic coach?
Well, I'll take that first because he's sitting right next to me. I actually had Barry, a guy by the name of Doc Moscow, who coached me at Hardwood Cadets, and a guy, John McGuire, Tweety McGuire, who coach knows very well, who coached me at St. Coleman's in basketball, football. He didn't coach baseball, but they had an impact. Doc Moscow and Tweety on how to, the X's and O's and that kind of stuff. Big guy had an impact on me in the way I treat players and the way he treated us, because it's difficult sometimes when you have, players who think they should be playing more than they should be, or even if they should, how you deal with it, in certain situations. And I learned that from him, and I handle those situations because I was one of those guys, and I'll never forget, I went home and said to my dad, I should be playing more. And he said, typical dad back then, "You must not be practicing hard enough then." I said, no, it's like a competition. Our practices were great, phenomenal. He said, "Well, go talk to the coach." And I did. And, we were winning. We were terrific. And he said to me, "You have to keep working hard. I can't promise you anything, but I will say this: if you don't work hard, you're not going to have a chance." So it's easy to deal with the guys that start every day, every game, right? It's the ones that don't. And I had empathy for them because I was in that situation, but I knew, and I think I'll tell you, I worked hard, but it was the greatest, that team and those players they're still my friends to this day. It was the greatest bond, and they don't treat me, or they don't say to me, "Oh, you never played," or anything like that. It was all, we were a team, and he was right. We were a team. We weren't the best team in the league by far.
No, talent-wise, no.
But we won the Southern Division because of his coaching, how he treated players. I still use his small ball coaching to this day, which nowadays isn't
kosher.
I know. I know.
Leagues.
I still refer to that, though. I'll be watching a baseball game and I'll be like, you see a bunt and you're like, oh, small ball. Small ball wins baseball games. It might not be in the analytics, but it's somewhere. Yeah. So how about you, Mr. Kirsch? Who was your mentor, and, who was your biggest influence?
Well, my high school basketball coach, name was Jack Lytle. He was a real insurance guy, real classy guy.
Real classy guy.
Yeah, real prim and proper, very nice man. He got me started. I had Jack Devine, was my freshman coach at Villanova. He was the same way, really, really classy, really honest, fair guy. And then Jack Kraft was the varsity coach. I got to know him a little bit, but we used to practice together a lot. So I would talk to him and things like that. So I guess those three people probably helped me the most. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about when Carroll became, Carroll boys and Carroll girls became just Carroll. And somewhere in that time frame, you started coaching girls, correct? Girls basketball. So what was that like? What was that transition from coaching boys to coaching girls?
Well, before I started coaching girls at Carroll, I coached at St. Agnes in my parish. My daughter was in 5th grade. They needed a coach, and my wife signed me up because that was in between coaching boys and girls. So I go up there and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Coaching girls, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be tough. But I just said, we're going to do fundamentals. And it worked because we were the best fundamental team in the league. And that's why they ended up winning later on. At the beginning, it was hard.
He was big on fundamentals when we played. But he also, coached men's baseball at St. Joe's University.
I didn't know that.
High school baseball to college baseball, back to boys basketball, girls basketball.
And it's hard. I coached college basketball too, and then took some time off and went to grade school basketball. Yeah. So, it is. It is a big jump. But I've coached boys too. I've coached girls basketball and I've coached boys basketball. And, I always say the best athletes are the boys that listen like girls and the girls that play like boys. Because girls are really, really good at following directions. Really good.
They want to be taught.
Yes. But sometimes, especially in basketball, you kind of need to improvise a little bit. So boys that don't listen to anything, they just do whatever they want, whenever they want. So they the best people, I think, are the ones that have a good combination. They listen like a girl and they play they have this abandon and they can just improvise. Yeah.
I always said that the boys will say, I watched Michael Jordan play 3 games. What are you going to teach me? There's nothing you can teach me. I know everything. Whereas the girls always say, I want to be taught. Be taught. Now, the only negative with girls I always thought was a lot of them lack confidence. They wanted to learn, they listened, they did what you told them, but they didn't always have the confidence to take that shot or make that move. They didn't want to stand.
Yeah, risk takers. They weren't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but once you could get them past that point,
it
was unbelievable.
So, would you like better, boys or girls?
Well, the timeout certainly smelled better than the girls.
Good answer. Good answer.
I like the girls because they listen better.
Yeah.
When somebody's listening to you,
it makes your job easier.
Yeah. You start wow, we're making some progress here. But with guys, you sometimes just got that blank stare. You weren't always sure,
Yeah. I know. I used to say to my kids sometimes, what, both boys, what did the coach say to you in the timeout? Or not even in the timeout, after the game was over. And Jack would be like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, did you not, you just don't listen. I don't know. So, have you ever coached girls?
Yes.
Yeah?
I did.
At St. Bernie's?
No, Monarch Hills.
Okay.
I coached my daughter's team for about 2 years.
Oh,
all I
okay.
could take. What sport I can take?
Softball?
Softball.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're definitely 2 different sports. Softball and baseball are definitely 2 different sports. Yeah. I played softball at Carroll for Ray Perry. Actually, he was in the
great coach.
Yeah, he was a great coach. You talk about fundamentals. He was the guru of fundamentals.
Oh, he did.
And he was the greatest coach of girls one of the greatest coaches, because I don't think he realized he was coaching girls. He just treated us exactly like
you're a ball player.
Yeah, you were just a ball player. It didn't really matter. And tears did nothing on him. Some coaches always say, if I'm an assistant to a man coach, I'll be like, it doesn't matter if they cry. Please don't let them that affect you. Just move on, pretend they're not crying. Right. And he definitely moved on and pretended like we weren't crying.
They were. I think they were 10 at the time, and there was a lot of that, and it was a fun time, I would say.
Well, maybe you'll get do you have a granddaughter?
No, just the two.
Yeah, just the two boys. So maybe someday you'll get a granddaughter and you could coach your granddaughter and something. Yeah. I always looked at, Mr. Thornton, Tom Thornton. You guys both know Tom Thornton.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Thornton actually was one of the main catalysts to get me hired.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So he is now coach. I have seen him coach several of his grandchildren. And I always thought, my gosh, that would be a neat experience to be able to coach your grandchildren. Do you have any grandchildren? We're going to talk about that. Okay.
Yes.
You're going to coach them?
Well, they don't live.
If you move to Germany,
right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Mary Ann's are in Delaware. And then
yeah.
Up in, up near the mall there. And
King of Prussia, that mall?
What's that town? The mall.
Coventry Mall?
Yeah.
Oh, Plymouth Meeting.
Plymouth Meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
I don't think I'll be coaching them.
No, but I do think that would be a cool thing. So let me ask you both this question. What did you want your teams to be known for when you were coaching your teams? What did you want them to be known for?
Hard-nosed, played the game the right way, and respected the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. Because, I wanted them to represent, I wanted the alumni, especially the baseball alumni of Bonner Prendergast, to really, I guess what's the word I'm looking for, be thankful for it. Just smile when, Bonner baseball, they do things the right way. They made us proud. I just wanted to, if we could build a program and make them proud and be successful at the same time, then that's good.
Well, I can speak from personal experience that I definitely think that you achieved that. I know that you achieved that. I mean, I know plenty of Bonner baseball alumni, and they are definitely proud of the program that you helped to create there. So, Mr. Kirsch, what did you want your teams to be known for?
Well, pretty much what Joe said. Just respect the game,
mm-hmm.
work hard, perform the fundamentals, work as a team. Somebody paid me a compliment one time. They said, I like the way your kids walk into the gym. Said they're not arrogant, they're not cocky, but they're confident.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I felt that was a good compliment.
And it's,
mm-hmm.
our team was like that. At Carroll, right. we were very respectful of the game. We worked extremely hard, and we did things the right way. And there was no throwing helmets or throwing a bat or doing, he wouldn't put up, he wouldn't stand for that anyway, but it just wasn't in our DNA to do that. So I obviously took that to what I wanted to instill in my teams.
Yeah.
And you want your athletes to like each other.
Yes.
You don't have to love them, but you have to like them to get along.
Yeah. Yeah. It must be very rewarding to go back to some type of a reunion and see the teams that you each coached be the family that you helped to create through the sport. That must be something that's, rewarding to see, I'm sure.
It is special when you see your former players.
Yeah.
And their families and all that kind of stuff.
And we golf every week.
Yeah.
Him and a bunch of his players.
Yeah. I think that's just the coolest thing that you're you're legit friends.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Bust each other. It's
mostly class of 73 guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they say, Fred Shiro said, you win a championship, you walk together forever.
That's right. That's right. That is true. That is true. Do you walk?
No.
I was going to say, that's impressive. Let's switch gears for just a little bit, because I know that one of the things that has always come out, and actually I think it's the thing that has impressed me most with both of you, is your faith and the faith foundation that each of you have. And I just wanted to ask you, how has your faith guided you in teaching and coaching, being the pro-life moderator? What does your faith mean to you?
Well, faith always meant a lot. But when I first started teaching and coaching, I was probably a little timid with my faith. And And then the longer I taught, I just said, I have to be, not to be show off, but I have to be out front with it. I have to let the kids, whether it's in the classroom or on the court or the baseball field, let them see that, because I used to see a lot of good priests, good nuns, good Christian brothers who kept their faith to themselves, and I said, I don't think that's right. I think you need to let people see that so they can gain confidence and want to be like that. So that's when things changed for me.
Yeah. So Joe, speak to me about your faith and how it's guided you in your.
I guess I'm like, I guess I'm a lot of people. Obviously I went to grade school, Catholic grade school and high school, went to mass all the time, then went to college, then, kind of didn't go to mass all the time, lapsed. And then after we got married, when we had children, then we started going to mass, getting back to mass. My faith to me, is, I'm a flawed person, and what I found is that as I've gotten older, I've needed my faith more and more, to, I think, importantly, to be humble and, to, as our Lord said, love others, and sometimes, with all the things that go on, in your life, sometimes your faith may waver. So I find it, I try to go to mass every day, not because I'm better than anybody else. I need it more than anybody else. As my wife will tell you, she said to me, you only have 2 flaws. I'm like, wow, that's great, right? Everything you say and everything you do. So I figured, all right, I got to go to mass every day because I need to. I just feel like it makes me feel good when I leave mass. I'm calm and ready for the
good start.
It's a great start for the day, but my faith is believing in the Lord that He's going to be there for me. He's going to love me no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And I think everybody has difficult times in life. And the stronger your faith, the better off you're going to be. It's what you fall back on,
Yeah.
We have death, we have crises, we have everything. So if you don't have a good, strong faith, you're going to be in trouble. That's what I preach to my kids all the time.
Yeah.
There's a great man who's a Carroll guy, Tony Mullen, class of 74. And I actually coached his son Matt at Bonner. A great human being, great Christian. And I would always say to myself, my God, I wish I could be like Tony. I'm nowhere near.
We all did.
Nowhere near where he is, but I just want to strive to be like him. So I'll never forget this. You receive communion, you come back, and most people say a little prayer. Most people were sitting there, but when he was, after he received communion, he was like in a trance. And sometimes you'll hit people as they walking by them in the pew. So afterwards, I said to him, Tony, can I ask you something? Like, what are you doing? And he very simply said to me, I'm thanking God. And I thought, wow. So to this day, after I received communion, I say a little prayer of thanks, and I thank the Lord for all the things that He's done for me. And, that is one thing that just really...
Yeah. They say about Pope John Paul II that he had this very special devotion to the Eucharist, obviously, but that when he would receive communion, he would go into like it was like he received it as if it was the very first time every time. And he would kind of go into this deep, you could just see him.
That was done.
Yeah, that's awesome. This wasn't in my notes, but I did want to talk to you about, you gave a a speech when you were inducted into the Carroll Hall of Fame. You were the first inductee and the only inductee that year.
Correct.
And at the end of that speech, you talked about one of the most, I don't know whether it was at the end of the speech or in the speech, the context of it, something about getting to heaven. Do you remember what you said?
As Catholics, our number one job in life is to get to heaven. And number two job is to take as many people with us as we can.
Yeah. And I just
remember what'd you do when you knelt down?
Yeah, that was
I just said, when you're coaching, there's always a stance.
Yeah.
Matter, defense in basketball, whatever. And one stance that we have to learn to get into is kneel and pray.
Amen. And
I had the great honor of introducing him.
Yes.
As the MC for that.
Yeah, I know. There was something I had that night that I could not make it for that, but I'm going to link, that's on YouTube, actually, that speech. Yeah. And I'm going to link that in this episode because,
that'd be neat.
I mean, I heard that and that has stayed with me forever. I say that to people all the time, that our job is to get to heaven and take as many people with us as we can. So that was something that really hit home with me personally. So I'm glad you got to share that.
Read, way back when I first started teaching, that kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. It's very true.
Yep.
Like Joe said, you can't be a phony. They'll spot you a mile away. But if you show them you care, they'll come with you.
Yes.
They'll do what's necessary to,
And kids today are under a lot of pressure, a lot of different pressures than we were under when we were kids. And,
sure.
You just have to be there for them.
Yeah. One of the things that both of you emphasized a lot when you were coaching is the concept of service. So can you talk about how important that was to you as a Catholic Christian and also as a coach? Like both of you, I know your team, Bonner, has been known for their community service projects that they've done. I've witnessed them with my son. So just talk a minute about how important it is for your teams and for students, because you were in the pro-life moderator for so long, to be known for service too.
Well, they always want your teams to do some kind of service. So we did various things, but for like 3 or 4 years in a row, we got together at Carroll and made hoagies, and then took them downtown and handed them out to the homeless down there.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good experience, watching this was with the girls' basketball team, watching them walk up, approach people, hand them a hoagie, get a smile. That was really cool. In the pro-life club, everything we did was service.
Right.
So we did a lot of things like that. And it's just great to see. I think it brings you together.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk all you want. You can say all you want. But unless you're actually doing it, doesn't mean anything.
Right. When the rubber meets the road.
There you go.
Yeah.
We try to do at least one and a few service projects every year. Whether it be, we've done the YMCA, Thanksgiving and Christmas drives. We've done Don Guanella with used to be softball and now wiffle ball. We've taken Christmas gifts to inner city kids. We've collected, toys and all kinds of things. So the biggest thing for our kids, especially the ones that we've been doing recently with Don Guanella, is that, and we tell them, see how lucky you are, and they realize how lucky they are. But the joy on their faces when they're interacting with other people who aren't as fortunate as them is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they take that one thing out of there, that what they, St. Teresa said, if you can help somebody in a small way,
mm-hmm.
Even and just put a smile on their face, you'll realize how important that is. I think that's the biggest thing that the kids get out of service project.
And I think it's just so, it's important to our Catholic faith, but it's important to the development of youth, Catholic youth, that we teach them that service is at the heart of what we do. And I think that you two have done that in a way that has really left a lasting impact in the kids that you have, that you've shown that to. So let's talk a little bit about life after retirement. So you retired after 52 years at Carroll. So what's your life like now? What do you do? Or like, what's Mr. Kirsch's life like after retirement?
It's still pretty full. It's amazing. I thought, what would I do? But as time moves on, I mean, between grandkids, between golfing twice a week, between doing stuff around the house, I have a garden and a flower garden and spend a lot of time with that stuff.
And you travel? Your travels, right?
Yes.
Yep.
We have a son in Germany, so we go over and see him once a year. He comes here once a year. My wife and I try to take a few long weekends, do some things like that. But
he's involved. He's still involved with the Carroll Hall of Fame. He's the face of the Carroll Hall of Fame.
Well, he's the face of Carroll, right? Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah.
We have another Carroll event, September 27th.
You can plug it. What is it?
27th, the Carroll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
The 8th annual.
Tell them where it is this year.
It is at Drexelbrook.
Oh my gosh.
Bonner territory.
Oh boy. I don't know. Don't tell any of the Bonner boys that the Carroll is going to be at Drexelbrook. It's not going to go well. It's not going to go well.
It's a great facility.
It is.
There's a bunch of Bonner Prendergast students that work there.
Yes, that is true. I will link the tickets to that. I'll link it in the show notes so people can get that.
You got 2 Hollywood people going in.
Oh yeah,
really?
Maria Bello.
Okay, I just watched her new show on Netflix.
And the redhead from The Office, Kate Flannery.
Oh yeah,
Office,
yes,
yep.
Yes, I love it.
Martin Inglesby.
Oh yeah, good people.
Yeah,
good people. Yeah, that's an awesome. And you are a member of the Bonner Hall of Fame.
They ran out of Bonner guys to put in, so they put the Carroll guy in.
I won't make any insults about Bonner. I won't. I love Bonner. I taught there. Bonner and Freddie, I taught there. I can't make any insults. We try and keep them all. So, yeah. When did you get in?
October of 2023.
Yeah. I feel it. I can't remember if I was there for that. Who else was in your class? Who else went in with you?
Joe Redigan.
Was John Conis? Did he go? He went in with you. Yeah. So I was there for that. Yes. Yeah. God rest his soul.
Yes.
Okay. So Joe, you stepped back from the head coach.
I did.
And you gave it over to your son, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So walk us through that, because sometimes it's hard to go from a head coach to an assistant coach. And sometimes it's even harder when you're the assistant coach to your son.
Correct.
So how did that happen? How did that transpire? Was your wife like, no, you're giving that to Steve?
Yes. He was absolutely on his side. So he came on board. So I started at Bonner in 2005. And after Steve, he played at Alvernia. So after he graduated in 2010, he came onto the staff in 2011. So as we were moving into 16, 17, 18, I knew that we needed a fresh, a fresh voice. I love doing it,
mm-hmm.
but we had not had a losing record in I don't know how many years. And my last year we were 9-14.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I said to myself, it's time for you to get out, and they need to hear another voice.
That must have been a gut, soul searching to realize that, because there's not a lot of coaches that would have realized that as quickly as you realized it. And
I thought to myself, I don't want to go out like this, but then I thought, you know what, that's being a little selfish. it was just time. Parents are different nowadays than they were back in my day, and it was just time for a younger boy. So I was really hoping that he would get the job. I didn't, obviously the school asked me, my thought, but I tried to stay out of it as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
I also knew that he was going to, and he was ready. He was going to actually make it more like a college program than it was. And he has done that. And, is it difficult being his assistant? No, because I tell him every once in a while who's really the boss, but
Right.
no, he's good in that. And I'm fine with it because, we talk, one of the great things is we talk like every night, about baseball, about this, the program, because it's, spring, summer, lifting. It really is 12 months a year for kids that, they want to be. So it was an easy transition. I think he's done a great job. He's taken the program to another level that I had.
So has he outwon you yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's outwon. Well, okay. I'll tell you, he has 2 championships to my 1 CL championships.
Yes.
Yeah, he's definitely had it.
My son was a part of one of them.
Yes.
One of the Catholic leagues. Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, there's no substitute for youth.
That's true.
Son, true. He's capable and he's a lot younger.
He loves it.
Time.
He puts a lot of time.
Yeah. And I think you definitely have established such a great position with the kids, with the boys. It's different being an assistant than it is the head coach. I mean, that is definitely different. And not that you ever really set out as a goal to be their friend when you're coaching them. You always want to be their friend after they leave. But when you coach them, we can't afford to be their friends. But I definitely think that having someone of your, I don't want to say age, but you're older.
I'm old. And
you're wiser. And you're not the head coach. And that I think that Jack, for me personally speaking, I think Jack, he loves Steve, but he really, really appreciated the bond that he had with you. And I think a lot of kids would definitely say that.
I think him and I were a lot alike too.
Mm-hmm.
Jack and I.
God bless you.
And it is easier being an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Right?
Anybody can be an assistant.
Right.
But being a head coach,
yes.
That's where you get separation.
Right?
Yeah.
But as an assistant, like John McCauley and the assistant coaches that we have, there might be situations where, the player doesn't agree with the head coach or he's not happy with the head coach. And then you can step in and help them learn.
Mm-hmm.
So that they understand as to why, or you can give them some direction as to what you think they should do. So yes, it's a lot easier. There's no pressure on you.
No, but there is, you have to be a politician because you have to keep your allegiance to the head coach. I mean, the head coach is the person that sets the agenda and sets it up. And kids are perceptive.
Yes.
And if there is a slight hairline fracture between the head and the assistant, they will find it like white on rice and then they will exploit it. And I definitely think that, it's definitely a fine line being an assistant coach as opposed to being a head coach.
And to your son.
Yeah,
fine line.
Yes, it is. Okay, so I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about the force behind both of you, the forces behind both of you, and I want to start with your wives because I've had the blessing of getting to know both of your wives, and just the blessings of having you guys speak about how your marriages have really stood the test of time. I mean, how long have you been married?
50 years.
50 years?
40.
Okay, so that's 96 years. I can still do the math, even though I didn't have you as a math teacher. 96 years of marriage. So, and like I said, I've had the blessing to know both of those wives. So kind of talk a little bit about their influence on your coaching and educational careers. And like, they were the ones at home kind of like holding down the home front, because as you're coaching and teaching and pro-life monitoring, you're not at home. So what did that look like for you guys?
Well, my wife, Terry, is very, very humble. She's very content and satisfied to be behind the scenes. Love working with our kids and taking care of them and making sure I could do what I wanted to do. And she'd come right out and say that. And still that way today.
And that is a vocation. I think that sometimes we miss that isn't that's not a job, and that is a job, and it is a vocation to be that person.
Yeah, she's still that way today. That wants to make sure I do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, she's very humble that way, and she doesn't need any glory. She doesn't need any recognition. She's happy to just sit back and take it all in.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, it's been 46 years of bliss for me and about 3 years of bliss for Patty.
That's generous. I was going to say, I'm going to call her and be like, what were the 3 years of bliss for you? Because we have to put that on the podcast.
I've made a lot of mistakes. She is, it's a couple things. She is a coach's daughter, which really helps. And believe me, she has her opinion, just like her father, as to what we should and shouldn't do in certain areas. But she's given up a lot, in order for me to do what I do. But she does love it. I still coach a 14U travel team, and she comes with me. She was with me last weekend at Diamond Nation down in Flemington, New Jersey.
Oh, I've been there.
So I don't think a lot of wives do that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that background of being a coach's, daughter. I think he liked me because I was the first guy that played baseball that she ever went out with. She keeps me humble. She keeps me on the right path, and she really is. I don't tell her this, but she is my hero because she's been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things, physically. She's just an extremely strong, individual. And she's the reason we've been together for,
Yeah.
I'm not that easy to live with, believe me.
Yeah. It's not that hard to believe, actually, Joe. But yeah, and I mean, I think that you're such a great example to young players, to young men and women, that you're in it for the long haul. You just exude, and I've seen both of you with your wives, and one of the things that I love is that you really do enjoy being with them, and they really do enjoy being with you, and that shows in the relationships that you have. So you've been a great example. So I appreciate that. So tell me about the rest of your families. Like, how many kids do we have? I mean, I kind of know, but let's let everyone know. And how have your families been part of your journey in Catholic education? Because it's not always easy to have your dad being the teacher and being the coach. And, that always, my kids, their dad's a police officer. So that's not always easy. When you're in a role that there's some type of authority attached to that role, it's not always easy to be the kids of that, because I think sometimes you get the brunt of it. So how have your families accentuated the positives of your careers?
Well, I have 3 children. Mary Ann's the oldest. She graduated from Carroll in 95, and Brad in 98, and Matt in 2001. I taught all 3 of them, and showed no favoritism at all. I remember, like, the last week of school when I had Mary Ann in algebra, she was answering a question, and a girl sitting in front of me goes, You know, 36 weeks later, she figured it out.
Perceptive, very perceptive.
But I would never show any favoritism. I remember
much to their chagrin, I'm sure.
When she was in 8th grade and I was coaching her in basketball at St. Agnes, you had to pick two kids to go to the All-Star game. I didn't pick her because I didn't want to show any favoritism. So, but then fortunately for her, and I guess me, one of those two kids got hurt. So they asked me to pick another, so I picked her then. But same thing when I coached her at Carroll, I never wanted to show any favoritism toward her or any of my kids. I guess the thing I'm most proud of is that all three of them still go to church. Their spouses go to church. Their children go to church. So I'm lucky because there's a lot of grandparents I know who are very unhappy with their grandchildren, that they're not with the faith. That's so important. That I hope it continues with the grandchildren and their children. If anything could be passed on, that would be it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think sometimes, it's hard. It's hard for a lot of reasons to be the coach's kid, but I think that sometimes we as coaches who coach our own kids, we tend to be harder on them, and that's not always fair to them. I'm sure I did that way more, and I know that Jack would agree that I did that way more than you guys probably did. And I think that that's if I had to think about what I regret, that would be something that I would say I probably was too hard on my own kid. Just to kind of combat that, I don't want to show favoritism.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I was that definitely. So I have 4. Joe graduated in 04. Steve from Bonner Prendergast. Steve graduated in 06. Matthew 08. Monica 10. It's great because Steve's a coach at Bonner. My Monica coaches volleyball at Bonner and works in office.
Yes, we pay our bills to Monica now, our tuition bills.
My son Joey was the oldest one, was more of a soccer player, but I coached him, and as Stephen, obviously, but Matthew was the only one I coached in high school. The other ones I coached all the way through until they got to a certain age, but I was probably the same way. I was probably a little harder on, and it's probably a regret that I have too. It's probably harder on him than maybe I needed to be. But again, you're trying to make sure that people understand that, it's not daddy ball.
Right. Or mommy ball.
Or mommy ball. And I'm sure there's a lot of it, out there still, but, we try not to dwell on that too much.
Now, did either of you ever win a championship with your child that you coached? You did,
yeah,
right?
Younger.
Right. Right.
Not high school.
Right. But that must be really cool to have that.
Steve,
yeah.
coach,
Yeah. Steve was the coach and you won. Yeah. That must be a really cool thing. Yeah. The Bonner football coach, Jack Muldoon, just had that experience. He won 2. He won a Catholic League one year, right? And then a state the next year. We just can't seem to string those two things together in football or baseball. Yes, we need that one time to win the state and the Catholic League in the same year. It would be so great.
We're like the Buffalo Bills of the state.
I know, it's a state semifinal game. Is just the big, yeah. Okay, so how do you want your players or your students to remember you when they look back on you guys? How do you want them to remember you?
Well, you'd want them to think that you were fair. You'd think that you prepared them well, you motivated them well, and also prepared them for life later on.
Mm-hmm.
I just want them to, just to think or to say, you know what, he was a good man.
Yeah. Well, I know that I am speaking for anybody who's ever had you in the classroom or ever had you on a baseball field. And that is exactly how they would remember you. So Thank you for the gift of what you've given them. It's funny. We just kind of spent almost an hour talking, and we didn't really mention any wins, a lot of wins or losses. Because that isn't really what your emphasis really ever was.
No, it's terrific.
Yes,
and
they're fun.
They're fun, and they're great memories.
It's the icing on the cake.
Icing on the
cake. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we didn't do our rapid fire.
Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're going to do it. Yeah, no, we're here. We're in the holy hot seat. You ready for the holy hot seat segment?
Let's go.
Okay, you're both officially in the holy hot seat. So we'll go back and forth, I think. You're the first time the two that I've ever had two in the holy hot seat at the same time. So it's like these rapid fire questions, just fun banter. Okay. So favorite saint to pray to?
Saint Teresa.
Of the little flower.
Saint Teresa, the little flower. What matters most in life is not great deeds, but great love.
Exactly.
I also have to tell you the story. Saint Bernadette is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
My birthday is February 11th, Our Lady of the Lord's feast day.
Oh.
Our Lady of the Lord's here too, Saint Bernadette.
Saint Bernadette.
Where did I end up? Saint Bernadette. Saint Bernadette. Since I've gotten married, I got married in Saint Bernadette's, and since I've been married, we've been in Saint Bernadette's parish. So I was. It's not coincidence.
No, there's no coincidences in life.
I was meant to be there.
Yeah, amen. I spent some time at Notre Dame last summer, and which was very hard for this Penn Stater to swallow. I took a graduate program there, and it was great. It was life-changing, actually, being on the campus of Notre Dame. But I spent a lot of time in the grotto, and what a beautiful tribute that grotto is. I loved it. Okay, who's your favorite saint to pray to?
It was always St. Francis, because that's this grade school in the parish I grew up in. And then when I met my wife, her name was really Therese. And father named her after Therese of Lisieux.
Oh, there you go. Same one.
She has a great devotion.
Little things with great love.
Devotion to St. Therese. And actually her father had polio, and he prayed to her and was able to recover from it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he's one of her miracles. That's awesome. Okay, favorite Catholic League rival to compete against?
Oh, for me, O'Hara.
Okay, that was easy, right? How about you?
Same here, the evil empire.
I know. I mean, I have to kind of go out of my wheelhouse at some point. I have to get somebody from other places. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to get someone from O'Hara. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get Linus. Yes. Yeah, we can get Linus McGinney because he left Carroll and went to the evil empire of O'Hara. He was my basketball coach at Carroll. Mm-hmm. Okay, Barry, what's the best advice Barry, I can't believe I just called you Barry. Mr. Kirsch, what's the best advice you ever gave during a basketball timeout?
Well, it goes back to Linus. I was coaching with him, and we were playing.
Oh, God, please don't repeat anything that Linus said during a basketball timeout. This is a family show.
Playing Christ the King at Carroll, and you can't beat them. They're the number one team in the country. But I think it was a tie score, and there was a timeout. We get ready, get in the huddle, and Linus says, "What do you got?" It was early December, so put in a pick and roll play that we hadn't put in this year yet. We put it in the year before, and it worked. My daughter set the screen. Karen was in it, came off, bounced the ball to her, layup, foul, scored, won the game.
There you go. That's it. And you beat Christ the King.
Beat Christ the King. That doesn't happen very often.
No, it does not.
Especially beating them.
Yeah.
Their coach was furious. He'd come out of the locker room for like half hour.
I love it.
Kids came out all stolen because they don't lose many games.
There you go. Yeah. All right, Joe, what's the best advice on a trip to the mound?
2010 Catholic League championship game. We had just won a semifinal game that most people didn't think we were going to win. We beat Milagretti, who was very talented. So we go up against Ryan, and they come out and they score 3 runs in the top of the first. We go down 3-0. It could have been 4-0, but one of our guys, Matt Mullen, threw out a guy at home plate. So during that run, when it got to be 3-0, when it got to be 3-0, I went out and I said to our pitcher, Anthony DeGalvo, and I'll clean it up. I said, they are not scoring another run off of you. You understand? And he said, yes, coach. And we won 13-3.
There you go.
That one I do remember because it was a championship.
I love it. I love that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Straight runs.
That's crazy. Yeah, at Newman Gretty?
It was, no, in the championship game against Ryan.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Got it. Okay, favorite Philly food to celebrate after a big win. What do you want? What are you going to eat after a big win?
The food that I enjoyed the most after a big win was win.
There you go.
Really have
No?
food.
Rajol? Cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak? Okay, we're going to ask you at the end what your favorite cheesesteak place was.
Okay.
But okay. Favorite Catholic hymn?
I guess Come O Come Emmanuel, because it lasts for a month.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
You hear it every Sunday.
I love it.
During Advent. And some of the other ones are good too, but you don't hear them that often.
Exactly.
Christmas, Easter, that day, and the next Sunday, and that's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right, Joe.
One bread, one bond.
Okay. All right. Toughest coach you ever coached against?
Joe Parisi from LaSalle.
All right.
In college, I coached against a guy, baseball, Seton Hall, St. John's, Shepherd. He was tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was tough. He pulled up his pickup truck and he got out. You know, he was covered in dirt. He was out there. Boy, he was tough.
All right.
Good coach. His teams did really well.
I love it how you both had that, like, right. You just knew who your toughest coaching opponent is. I love that. Biggest superstition when you were coaching, if you had one. Did you have a superstition when you were coaching?
I had to, after every game, when you go out and talk to the team after the game, after every game, I had to go out and the first thing I had to say was, what's our record? And the answer had to be 0-0.
Oh.
Today.
In other words, today's done. No matter if we won or lost, we're moving on.
I like that. Okay. That's a good one.
To this day.
Oh, that is a good one.
Mine was just saying a lot of prayers the night before and the day of. Just so that I could keep my cool and coach to the best ability I could do. Because sometimes you get in the game, you get the heat of the action, and you start getting upset with the officials or start to get upset with your players, and then you can't coach.
Yeah.
You're no good to your team. So trying to remain calm.
That's good. If you could both win one game that you have previously lost, do you have which one it would be? Do you know which one?
I have every one we lost. Everyone we lost.
There's not one loss that stands out more than the others?
Oh, no, they were all tough. A lot of nights I couldn't sleep after a loss.
Yeah.
You play the game in your head over and over, and losing is not fun.
No, it's not.
It's not fun.
I would say there's several. The semifinal ones, obviously, in the States, but I wasn't the head coach. This was going back, I forget what year it was. It was in the semifinals to get to the final Catholic League Championship game again. We were up 7-6 against Newman Gretty in the bottom of the seventh. Or maybe top of the seventh, I forget. Anyway, we had 2 outs, a little dribble in front of the plate. The throw went off. They scored a run to tie it up, make it 7-7, and it went 14 innings.
Oh my!
Wow,
and
a double game.
We could not score, and we lost 8-7. They scored 1 run in the 14th, and we faced a kid who had pitched 1 inning all year.
Oh man! I kind of had
7 shutout innings.
Oh my gosh!
To this day, in Newman Gretty, I always remind him about things like that. Yeah, that was the one game.
I can imagine that would be the one. Yeah, that would be a tough one. Yes. Okay, favorite book. It could be a children's book or an adult book. What's your favorite book?
The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Galloway.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with tennis. It was all about preparing your mind for what you were doing and how to be positive and, prepare yourself properly.
I love
It was
that.
a great book.
All
I
right.
gave it to about a whole bunch of them, gave them to our kids back in early 70s.
I hope you signed them. Did you sign them?
I did not.
Oh my gosh. If anybody's listening, bring the book back. Mr. Kirsch will sign it for you.
Mine was, two, I guess. One was Charlotte's Web. I used to read it to kids all the time.
Yeah, E.B. White.
But the book, the Ted Williams book on hitting, 88 short pages in a small hitting book that I try to buy every year 20, 25 copies.
I love that. Do you sign them?
No.
Can you sign them?
Lose them.
I know, but it's
should-
still nice to just sign them. Yeah, it's nice to sign them. Yeah, I always like that. Okay, last question, the Holy Hot Seat. Favorite cheesesteak place?
Sound.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Roxbury. Yep, that's Carroll territory. I like it.
Yeah.
I go with that one.
We were on vacation up in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, right outside of Lancaster. A place called Gus's this weekend. It was phenomenal.
Really?
Well, what made it good was they gave you a little bowl of homemade tomato sauce.
Oh, all right. That's going out of the box. That is not where I thought we were going with the favorite cheesesteak place.
Yeah.
Gus's in Mount Joy.
Awesome.
Well, if I can find the link, I'll put it in there. I'll definitely put it in the show notes.
Are you going back?
For the cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So signature question. I ask everybody this that's on the Graces of Catholic Education podcast. And here it is. If you could whisper one piece of advice to every Catholic educator before they step into their classroom or onto the field as a Catholic coach every day that would help them shape future saints, what would that piece of advice be?
I think I already said it.
Mm-hmm.
Kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You got to show them you care. We both said it before. Kids can spot a phony a mile away, so don't try to deceive them. Just be fair with them, be honest with them, tell them the truth, and be prepared in your class or in coaching. Be prepared so there's no surprises.
Amen.
I guess two things really. One we already talked about. Treat them fairly, not necessarily the same, but also what Saint Teresa said: what matters most in life is not great deeds, but great love. Just have that love, what you're doing for your students.
Yeah. Well, that kind of brings us to the end, but I just want to say, on behalf of everyone that has ever been touched by either one of you, the gift that you have given to Catholic education and Catholic sports in the Catholic League is unparalleled. And the example that you have set for your students and your players is unmatched. So I love that reading from Timothy where you have fought the good fight, you have won the race. So you have won the battle of what you are supposed to do in this world, because I know that there's a lot of people that have gotten to heaven because of the example that both of you have set. So I can't thank you enough for that. Is there anything else that you'd like to impart us with?
I'd just like to thank all my students, all the athletes, and their parents, because they're the ones that got it started with their children. And I learned as much from them as they learned from me.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
I mean, to me, what makes a good coach is obviously good athletes, good coaches that you have with you, and good parents that that buy into what you're trying to do, and they've been the reason that we've been successful. So yeah, I'd like to thank all of them too for everything that they've done for me, and for the.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely benefited from, the experience of having known both of you. So I selfishly thank you for everything that you've been able to give me. So I
Thank you
conclude.
for saying such great things about such flawed guys. Well,
It's easy.
flawed guy.
It's easy.
Back to being humble.
Yes, it is. It is. All right. We're going to kind of close with a little prayer. I say this at the end of every podcast.
Oh, by the way, this is for Joe Rogers.
All right.
So that's a miracle.
All right. Joe Rogers. There you go. There's your shout out. To all our faithful listeners, may God's grace fill you with the courage to